Any other?
I have a request that, I know that the budget time looms before us. And I know almost nothing about how we manage our county budgets. And I wondered if there is possibility that the director of finance or the county executive has, possibility of giving us some kind of briefing or some kind of education webinars, any resources at all to be able to prepare us to be as educated as we can be in the budget. I know that the Wisconsin Counties Association has a couple of slide decks you can go through. You could watch a webinar from a number of years ago on county budgets. It's basic and that's great. But if there's anything more useful or more meaningful to us, I'd love to have that be shared for all the new members who have not gotten to the budget cycle.
I'll have to ask them because it's never been done before, but if they would like to do it, I think it's a great idea. Supervisor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to announce that the lovely baby girl that Supervisor Belleville had last month is actually a little boy. They have a boy. But everybody knows at the school.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll close that part of the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt this evening's agenda? Second. Supervisor Cox, seconded by Supervisor Hints. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Say nay. Carried. Public comments. Anyone wishing to speak to the board on anything having to do with Winnebago County at this time may do so. Go to the back of the room, state your name, address. You might want to come around the glass, any of you that are speaking, because the mics won't work back there either. So state your name and address, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jim Wise, District 8 Supervisor, 1204 Cameron Circle, Dana. Today I would like to speak regarding an issue that I'm having trouble understanding. Concerning Judiciary and Public Service Committee, for which I am the elected chairman. Last week, Thursday, I approved the JPS agenda for the next JPS committee meeting September 9, 2024. This afternoon, I discovered that it has still not been distributed. When I investigated this, I found that my agenda has not been approved by the county executive's office. Possibly my duties have been changed. I don't know. As chairman of this committee, I no longer approve agendas for approval. Is that true?
Yo. Anyone else wishing to speak before the board?
District 25, 2563 Village Lane in Oshkosh. I'm the chairman of the parks, and our park agenda was turned in a time, and it also is being held up at the county executive's office. It has not been approved yet.
Anyone else? Anyone else on the board or in the back? Time to address anything that you would like to bring forward to the county board, whether it's be on the agenda or not. We won't be able to discuss it if it's not on the agenda, but we can take it up possibly next month, the next meeting. Not seeing, is there anyone on Zoom?
No.
Not seeing any, we'll close that part of the meeting. County executives report and appointments.
Yeah. So this one here? Yeah, this one's still on, okay. My appointments, have some appointments made to the board. To the aging, Tom, would you like me to, Mr. Chair, would you like me to do this all in one?
We would like to do it, okay, appointments.
All right, so the Aging and Disability Resource Commission, Barry Christensen of the town of Winchester, Adam Malik in the village of Winnebago County, and Paul Janty of the city of Oshkosh.
Second. Moved by Vice Chairman Barry, seconded by Supervisor Nelson. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Not hearing any, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Say nay. Carried.
Please.
Okay. The only thing I have is the only supervisor that called me and asked to be excused was Supervisor Holt. Supervisor Dowling did call. She said that she would be, she was on Zoom. So them are the only ones that have called me. So they're the only ones that are to be excused. The other thing that I wanted to bring up real quick, not to drag out, we know that we want to have another, thing where we go out and see different places in October, a second tour. So far, we're having a hard time getting a bus at that time because schools are just getting done. So we haven't packed down a bus at that time, so we either might have to go a little bit later, or whatever. We're still trying to get that part done, but because of that time limit, schools and the buses aren't back in yet, so we're trying to get that done. So something we didn't discuss, and it isn't on the agenda, but I want you to think about it because we still have time to get it done. Do we want to go and have something to eat like we do at our other one? Sandwich or something someplace? Or not? We really didn't talk about that. So, we got another meeting coming up. If you want to, we can discuss it there. We'll put it on the agenda. Like, whatever. So, invite in, we'll know if we can get a bus in. If you would like to go someplace particular, just come up and talk to me and we'll see if we can work it in. Thinking about possibly going to, not because it's just over my area, but I know that one of the first places that we approved was the community center. That building was taken completely to be done. Possibly Winnebago, they had a lot done over there, and that's kind of one big school. And then some of you know some other places that you think you'd like to go, and keep it within a reasonable amount of time. Just let me know. Okay, next up is, presentations. The first one is by Health, ELP, Beth Roberts, Human Service Long-Term Support Manager. Look at that.
Sorry, I only have 3 pages. Kidding, I'm just gonna do a quick update. For those of you who don't recall, the Help for Homeless Eviction and Loss Prevention Program is intended to help people maintain housing stability. So whereas the other programs had bricks and mortar due to people who were experiencing housing, lack of housing really, this is a program with services to help people to maintain their housing stability. In fact, thank you. After the last presentation I did with some statistics and some examples of what we do, we had a referral that we were able to assist. Thank you for that. We do have we do a lot of data tracking, and I'm not going to talk as much about statistics, but we do track a lot of different things for the program because we have certain strategies we're trying to accomplish. And they have a lot to do with collaborating with community members to address the housing things. There's a lot of people out there doing this in terms of serving people in various ways. So we really want to collaborate with people to identify unmet needs and solutions on how to meet some of those needs in our community. We have all of our staff training now to provide access to coordinated entry. And the reason why that's important is because if someone is trying to get assistance with their housing and they're trying to go through coordinated entry, there's only 2 people that serve 3 counties doing that. So it could be weeks before they ever even meet with you to get on the list. And by having our staff be able to get the person entered in that, they can come off a lot sooner to getting that kind of assistance. We have all of our staff now trained in RentSmart. The reason why that's important is because if someone is trying to get into some housing that's affordable and they don't have enough housing history, they can go through a RentSmart course, and that counts as a year of rent history. If they have to wait for the next regional RentSmart program, they will likely lose the housing that they're trying to get into. So we can provide the RentSmart to work with two people just like that, and they can get into the housing that they were looking for with that extra year. We also have sort of a pilot going on right now with a lot of other collaborative agencies to assist people, most of them that do some type of financial assistance. So what we're trying to pilot is looking at having us meet weekly to look at what the person's needs are, how they can best be met, and then if there's an unmet need, how do we look at our resources most efficiently and effectively? The reason why that's helpful is because it uses our time better. It helps kind of break down some silos between the different people that assist with housing. And it's much more consumer friendly because what happens is a person can go to a different agency to try and get assistance and find out that they're not eligible, and then go to a second agency and find out that they're missing something in an I across the T, and then go to a third agency. And it's very difficult when you're already experiencing housing instability or lack of income, which is the case with some of the people, to have to go place to place. So we can just take the additional information and try and look at a barrier-free way of helping people. So that's been a significant change since last year. Another change has been really working with some of the landlords and helping them understand what is Section 8 vouchers from the Housing Authority. If someone gets a voucher to assist with housing or rent payments, but they can't find housing, the voucher does them no good. So it's important that landlords understand how a Section 8 voucher works, and we've gotten landlords to accept them that before would not consider that. So we're really making some community strides in partnering with others and making some changes in how housing is offered within our community. We average about 175 calls a month, which is quite a bit. And those calls vary from someone who's just looking for a resource to give them to us actually providing some form of case management to them. So far, through the end of August, we've provided 261 people with case management. So we're targeted for about 400 people this year. And last year we served 320 people with some case management. If you'll remember, I shared with you, we have about 80% success rate in keeping people with their housing and keeping them stable. So it's really changing the scene of how people deal with housing. All I have, unless people have questions.
If you have any questions, just call in on your thing. Sheets. Questions? Supervisor Nelson?
What number do they call it? Agency are we talking about?
Oh boy, we have an individual number that people call. There's always someone during working hours, which is 8 to 4:30, who's on the call to take those calls. And I do not have our brochure with me, but Sean's going to help me out. The number is 920-509-7529. And we get a lot of people who, we call them walk-ins because they just come to the building and tell us their situation, and then they can meet with someone immediately to talk about kind of what where their gap is with maintaining their housing. We continue to see a number of people who are retired on fixed income. So the number of older adults that continues to surprise us, but somehow they find a way to get to us that way, but we do get called. I believe I shared a brochure after the last meeting. Hopefully I got that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And thanks for the presentation. I'm just curious about, Winnebago County. Are there landlords in Neenah, Menasha, all the outlying areas that you're working with, or is it primarily?
It's definitely county related. One of the things we picked up on is that for people who live in the northern part of the county, they have access to more resources. And when you look at the proportionate of assistance that are available for people in the northern half of the county compared to Oshkosh, it's incredibly disproportionate. So we actually got a donation from J.J. Keller to help kind of even that out and look at how we can make any resource just as available to someone in Amro as they are in Fox Crossing or wherever they are. Because there's sort of an inequity that we've come across between northern and Winnebago County and so.
I forgot, what's the cause of that? Is it, is this the town's doing it? Where's the?
Sure. It happened a number of years ago, and I don't know exactly when Levin started, but Levin is an agency that has different types of organizations that all pull together. But for whatever reason, Levin decided that they would serve, Appleton and Ashtabula, but they didn't cut off. And there was no such similar agencies that got together to look at Oshkosh. And that's one of the things that we're now working on. So we have several agencies that have different funding. We have people, a couple of different agencies who've given some generous donations to help as seed money to even that inequity. But the municipal me and the landlords.
Hand up. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Please forgive a very naive question. Is this unique to Winnebago County or other counties doing something similar?
I tried to do some research when we started this, when I was writing for the grant, and I couldn't find another county or even another state that was doing exactly this. Since then, the federal government, the state government, and have all started to do some grants, which we will be applying for in the spring to help sustain this, recognizing the importance of this. We've also had some other counties in the state recognizing the impact that we're having and asking us if we can help shepherd along with some of the efforts that Brown County and Waukesha County are trying to do and learn from us how. So the short answer is no. I don't know any other programs in our county or in the area that do this particular thing to help maintain housing.
Then just to follow up. I guess it's going to be kind of go without saying, you said that so far, last year you did 320 cases, or 261 this year, you're looking for 400. Are those all well established Winnebago County residents? There's not an influx from other counties because of this program. It's not being mirrored in other places.
Well, most of the people are residents of our county because we're trying to help them maintain the residents within our county. So calls us from Wild Rose because they received an eviction notice, we would not be able to assist them. So if they're currently a resident of our county experiencing some type of a non-renewal or closure on their home, things like that, absolutely, we will assist them. There are also some people who are already homeless who come to us. They didn't come to us from another county, they've been homeless in our community. And we don't draw a line there to turn them down. We're not gonna say, oh, you became homeless after we started working with you now. We're not. So we have assisted some people who don't have a declared residence right now. But we haven't seen anyone who actually came here from another county for this.
Provided with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Beth, thank you very much for your presentation. I applaud your willingness to look innovatively to provide a resolution to a problem that exists. Just want clarification, because as you're talking about the different organizations you work with, you refer to agencies, and I when I hear that immediately, I think governmental bodies, but it's much broader than that.
Yes, so when I say agencies, I'm referring to any community organization. So it could be, we work with the United Way, we work with the Oshkosh Area Food Pantry, we work with the Salvation Army, we work with Advocate, we work with some of the agencies who received funding for the bricks and mortar part of the neighborhood grant. So we work with a lot of, I call agencies, but they're all community organizations. The only governmental agency that we really work with would be the Winnebago and Oshkosh Health.
Right, we're
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great presentation. How do you measure success? And do we have, we report the cases, are they mostly new people or do we have people coming back?
They're typically new people, and again, it can be a very small amount of support that they receive. We follow up with people though regularly, so what we found within our aging and disability resource center, sometimes people come to us and we give them a resource, and then if it doesn't work out, they might come back to us and let us know it didn't work out, or they might say, I already contacted the ADRC and they couldn't help. So what we learned from that is that if we contact people 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months after their, the use were closed with us, that we're done working with them, to assure that they have maintained their housing stability, it helps. So those numbers don't count into the 400. They're continued, they're part of the 400, but when we recontact them, we don't count that number again. We have seen people who they were living in a hotel for a year, and then we helped them to find some secure housing with the family. They never had to pay bills in the hotel. So 3 month mark, now they're behind in their power bill and their water bill. So then we had to help them with some budgeting and financing and places that they could find assistance with that. 3 month, 6 month, and 12 month follow up. It's been pretty helpful. Sometimes we lose track of people. They may move or they may just not be interested in us. But we do have multiple contacts with people, but they don't count in it. It's that help or
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
I
Right,
don't
no,
think we're supposed to speak in English. I'm sorry.
No, didn't show.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In answer to the Supervisor Anson's question, I'm not surprised that we are leading the way in this. I think Beth Roberts has been innovative in a number of programs for a lot of years. And if you want to know what they are, maybe she should tell you, but Dr. Topol's here. She has been at the forefront of the state of Wisconsin, pulling together these kinds of activities. And I thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
No other hands, and I don't see any other called in. So I thank you very much, and I really appreciate you coming in. These 3 speakers, this, Beth, and the next 2 have come because the county board has asked them to give reports every so often. That's why this is the time that these people are coming now. So our next one is, probably, let's see. And go to the Chief Executive Officer. Basically not, I was gonna say, next time you get up, I thought, that's not fair enough.
You can see who I am, of course, for the Tony Gonzalez, I'm the Chief Operating Officer. Pam apologizes for not being able to be here this evening, and I'm stepping in for Pam. Want to just give you a little history. We'll go through our slides here. The first slide gives you just a few brief comments on Covey's history in 70 years of providing services to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the community, serving over thousands of individuals over that time period. Mainly, our organization's been involved in residential care, which of course the Neighborhood Investment Grant is helping fund additional work and expansion of residential care. But we've been involved in providing respite care, certainly now moving into adult family homes. We've had specialized transportation we've provided in the past, daycare for children and youth with special needs, and so on and so on. We have a list of community-based services. So just to give you a sense of who we are, oftentimes people say Covey, Hobby, Covey. We are Covey. If we go to the next slide, Covey, if you're not aware, is actually a small group of birds. And of course, by staying together, we are stronger. We provide safer security by numbers and sheer numbers of sticking together than we could do it alone, of course. And so the Covey is taken on this meaning which we hold dear as we, as caregivers and staff, are trying to create possibilities for the individuals with disabilities that we serve. Moving on to the next slide. This feather is also a symbol that represents the uniqueness of each individual and how our unique skills and talents of our staff and our talents actually create a strong and protected community for the individuals that we serve. So certainly the covering and the feather become a big important part of our identity as an organization. Next slide. Our vision is a world that embraces individuals with disabilities for who they are. Again, embracing individuals for their unique abilities. And we do so in a multitude of ways. Certainly, first and foremost, 24-hour care provided in a residential homes is a significant way that we're doing that. We are creating opportunities in our mission by fostering personal growth. So it's growth not only for our clients as we do our mission, it's for their families as well, which are very much supported in the services that we're providing, and to our staff as well. Next slide is on our mission. Thank you. I'll just very quickly, in the interest of time, you can see that we have a variety of community-based programs that we provide. Connects program just very simply is connecting individuals with disabilities to the community. An example might be a baking class or exercise class. So we don't have a residential facility that we're providing our staff or engaging clients in the community through that program. Adult Day Services is very similar. It's goal-oriented. It's supporting individuals to develop skills so that hopefully they can engage in the community to the degree that they're able. Some of them actually will engage independently through the skills that they're developing in this program. I invite really, really cool camp. It was last week. I helped a young man, a young boy, 7 years old, learn how to ride a bicycle. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done. In my 30 years of being in this field, it's a national program that we are able to actually have in our community here. We get people from throughout the state that want to reach this milestone in their life, learning how to ride. It's a really cool program, 1 week long camp. Inclusive artistry. We have artists come in providing classes and activities for individuals in all of our programs, community-based and in our residential programs. Meaningful meals. Very simply put, restaurant owners are providing training and support and guidance on how to serve individuals with disabilities. Those individuals, we actually go to the restaurant, talk to their staff. They have a meal with their staff, talking about how to serve individuals with disabilities. We have some clients then that actually know this is a safe place, that they are welcome, they're supported, and they return to that establishment. So it's a wonderful program we just got launched this past year. Respite care, can't underscore the importance of this for the families that have respite care that need it desperately for everything from going to work to medical appointments to mental health and so on and so on. There are many reasons that families rely on respite care that could be every day, could be for a long extended period, or can be periodically throughout the year. So we meet people's needs across the spectrum. Let's talk about it very simply put as a class for on human sexuality that's tailored to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And we started that this past year, of course, supporting people and learning more about human sexuality, intimacy, how to engage with others in a respectful and safe way. And now, of course, family homes. With your help, we are able to move forward and make adult family homes available. Next slide, please. That's good. You can see some photos behind me. Just very simply, this was a home that we purchased at 250 West 9th Avenue in Oshkosh. Essentially gutted the home, and we have done renovations. The photos that you see here are renovations, the final renovations to that home. We can go to the next slide. Just to give you a brief background on this adult family home. You can see, I won't go over all of the bullet points, but if you please just do a look while I make just a couple of quick comments, and that is that, this home is one that was in our community that needed great repair. And our ability to not only renovate that home, but make it a beautiful place for four gentlemen to live, is an extraordinary gift to them and to their families. There are many people and parents in our community who do not have a plan for the long-term care of their child. And there are many families that are desperately looking for that and have been for some time. Your support has helped us make this home available for the four men, so that we're able to take care of their sons, essentially, with their needs. Next slide. This gives you a quick couple views of the gentlemen that live in the home. These photos were taken actually three of the four. Unfortunately, the fourth person wasn't there. But in this story, very simply put, this home has become not only a safe place for these individuals to live, but they have a new family. These men actually have become like brothers, as they'll refer to themselves. They help each other, they look out for each other. They are engaging in the community and making each other's lives better. One individual in particular was isolated in his bedroom. He's now getting out in the community with his buddies and actually learning more about Oshkosh in particular, and what Oshkosh has to offer. The comment here, Aaron in particular said, "Mom, can I go home now?" The backstory to that is Aaron was in the house for about a month. And after about weekly, he would go home and visit family. He said, after about a month, "Mom, I'm ready to go home now." As if this, of course, is his new home. Mom cried, of course, I think because of what it meant, his home changed. But what it meant for her is that she now has a place. She and her husband have a safe place for their son. They don't have to worry about his well-being anymore. It's hard to put any numbers and value to that. We can't. Next slide, please. 123 Woodhaven Lane in Neenah. One of the coolest collaborations I've ever been involved in. I was with the organization for a year and a half. This is the tail end of a long plan to partner with Fox Valley Technical College, and their students actually built this house. So for their students to contribute to a new home, that doesn't happen very often. I've been doing this work for many years. I can count on one hand the times where we've been able to provide a new home to someone, especially brand new like this, and to collaborate with students. It's really a community coming together. It's Fox Valley Tech College, it's Covey, it's Winnebago County, all pooling resources to make this home available for these four men. They are actually identified, the men are identified, and we are in the process of finalizing the license for that home now. If you go to the next slide, please. We are fortunate that we not only engaged with the construction program, but we also engaged with the horticulture department as well, and they're going to help us working with other landscapers in the community do the landscaping needed for this house. The construction is complete. It was complete in May. Clients have been identified. The four gentlemen have been in the house many times. Unfortunately, the licensing for the State Department of Health Services is behind. And so what typically be a 2 to 3 month process is we're looking at 4 to 5 months now, unfortunately. We are in the final stages of obtaining that license. I would love us to move in this month. So we may be that close. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we can open this. The next slide. This is the final home of the 3 homes. It's at 1333 Eastman Street. It's adjacent to our respite home that we have and been providing services to for many years. It's we work with the city, of course, as it said on the slide, to rezone it. The construction of this has been underway since June, the beginning of June, and we anticipate that the project will be completed by the end of December. We are on schedule for that to happen. That said, we are looking to submit our licensing application by early October. The 4 residents of this program have been preliminarily identified. We think we have the 4 locked in. This one will be for 4 female adults in our community. We're targeting opening this home in early 25. Here again, it's subject to really the timeline of the state and being able to obtain our license and move through that process. And with that, next slide is the questions you may have, and move through it relatively quickly.
Supervisor, you have.
Oh, I still have a request. Okay, my question is, can you provide us, thank you for this, I didn't know anything about this, and I'm really excited to learn about it. Can you provide us with a list of the restaurants that you're working with so that we can also help to patronize them and thank them?
Yes, I can do that. I haven't created a memory. Yeah, absolutely. I think there are, today there are 7. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Supervisor Nussbaum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My grandson just learned how to regulate the puppy, so thank you.
That's wonderful. How old is he?
6.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I said, one of the coolest things I've been involved in. 2 days later, he's out running circles in the parking lot, and I thought, both of my kids are right, but it's a system. Without getting into it, the system's down. It's different equipment. It really accelerates their learning and skill development. It's impressive.
Supervisor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had 2 questions. One, in the section about tell me what it's about or something like that. Human sexuality. Are you teaching the young men how to, let's talk about it.
Yes.
How to do prostate exams and the girls how to do, the women to do breast exams.
There are
Being taught.
some of that in that section. There are different sections on medical care and so on. So yes, there is a promotion of healthy.
And my second question is there any kind of endowment? I mean, these 4 or 8 young men you have some with you. And if this is going to be their permanent home, what kind of guarantees do we have that they're probably going to outlive their parents? That this will be their permanent home and it will be there as long as they need it. Give an endowment to cover all this. What is your plan?
Well, we do have some assets as an organization. We do have endowment to help support the ongoing. But like any organization, most nonprofits exist for many, many years, but there isn't a guarantee. And there isn't a guarantee that will exist and Cully will exist. But we certainly have the intent to provide it.
Do you have any kind of plan in case something should go wrong? What happens to them when the house closest where they have no gives them contingency?
Yeah, well, the state requires that we actually have, we give 90-day notice. 90-day notice, should that be the case. But it isn't something that we have a contingency house set up, for example, if there are, the resources for that. However, we do have, and we have the good fortune of having 2 respite homes that can provide support on a temporary basis until another suitable living arrangement can be found.
Supervisor Nelson.
Yeah, just first of all, congratulations on the job that you're doing, and it's kind of exciting just that here. What is frustrating is what is wrong with the state. My God, you have to jump through hoops and hurdles to get the building permit approved in the first place. You built it exactly like they wanted it built. In this case, we're talking about a brand new facility, and it takes somebody down there 4 months to give you the license to move the people in that are ready to move in now. It is bureaucracy, red tape, at its worst, and you're doing well than that to show your frustration, I'm sure you feel.
Yeah, and I will contain all the thoughts I have relative to that. Frustration is an understatement. Especially when you know that one of the parents has had surgery and is counting on this. As mentioned earlier, we're supporting one of the individuals in our respite home because dad can't take care of him. And the clock is ticking. And he's gonna need to go back home and he can't care for him. So we feel the pressures in many ways, but this young man needs to be supported by us. And so I pushed on the state. Fortunately, I think we're getting closer to making this happen because of
Wish you luck with it. Okay, can you straighten out?
Supervisor, Gilbertson.
Yeah, I was wondering, you brought up that development homes has like a bit of a waiting list, or there's a lot of damage. How long is that waiting list looking for our area?
Yeah, I don't have a good number, for the entire area, but for our organization, we have 20 to 30 individuals. And as you know, we can build one home, search for. And it's a big deal to set up one home, so it's a lot of work.
Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah,
Supervisor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, it is up there. I actually didn't call the DHS, shut it down last week, so they did respond, I think. Today, they responded or anything, but we have something there coming in the meeting.
thank you for your work. I did get, I also, before you were reached out to by the parents, I pushed on the state, perhaps both of us. I got a response on Friday. So nice. So we're hoping, actually, we've got a call scheduled on Thursday morning, got a couple of questions, hopefully we can make this. So thank you.
Supervisor Locke.
Well, my first question was, is there anything that we can do, like, can we all send them a letter or something, you know? And if there's anything like that we can do, I'm sure that we would all be going to be calling up and saying, you know, can we do something, you know, hurry it along, back up. My second question is, do they have to keep track of their own utilities? Or do we at least help them pay the utilities on time? Or do we pay their, the grants and stuff, pay for their utilities?
The utilities of the home?
Yeah.
Okay. The first question is, appreciate the offer. I think what we've done now is we've gotten over the hurdle. The application was submitted, they asked for additional information. It's been in the queue for about almost 2 months. And now we've got additional information. We need to get it right this time. We've run out of time. So we've got Thursday morning. I don't think your support is needed at this time. I think we'll pass. But if I came to you and said, we're stuck, I'd be getting something to you right away, and that would be helpful.
Can I just say that if that happens in the future, where it becomes tough, I'm sure that the majority of us here will know.
That's helpful because we will be coming back to this again for the last house to show you on 1333 Eastman. We'll be back again next month. So the utilities are covered in the cost of care. So we take staff take care of all that, the residents following.
And that's all I've seen. I have no more names up here, so thank you very much. And I didn't read this part here, so thank you much. It is, Habitat for Humanity.
I was kind of these, so you can't get the slides, so it's just getting. Why don't you just, yeah, and I'll just go. I'll just go without.
Okay, all right.
That's fine. Thank you very much. I'm the last of the grants, and I want you, let's bring it home majestically. First off, I want to thank John Dino for applying for this grant. I want to thank Blue Shear for helping with this grant. And I want to thank the county board for approving this grant. It was a really difficult meeting in April 22, I believe it was, where you had to talk through, it was a difficult grant to understand. And you approved it. I feel it is one of the last charities in the pipeline. If you listen to each one of the nonprofits, it's how do we help people up the home continuum. Our job is to get them into homes for their taxpayers. I will tell you, in our role in this grant, what you were really doing was giving us the launching pad to build more homes and get it in process to build far more in the future. And the fact is, the grants only covered about 40% of the cost of what we needed, but we did that on purpose. So we weren't reliant on just one stream of revenue. And I would tell that John and Lou worked with me on some very complicated situations regarding Monroe, regarding some of the grants we did, and we got them done. Altogether, we won $2.4 million. So what did we do with it? We built 8 homes. That doesn't sound like the reality is the way we used to build homes. It took 15 months to build 1 to 2 homes. There's a street called Grove Street, just behind Bella Vista, that we did 6 homes in 24 months. To be able to purchase bigger land, to be able to work with contractors, to have the money up front, that was what was needed. There were county board of supervisors who went up with me to a field in Amro. If you ever go out to Amro and go into the town, there's a quick trip on the right, and there's a lot of earth moving equipment in the background. That's us. What you did is you helped us buy a portion of the land. By doing it that way, we had land available that we could work with private developers on the other lots. And you helped us get the financing because we had the underlying grant. I will tell you, going forward, I understand because I'm in Habitat. We like to call ourselves fierce. We are the ultimate number guys. We are the ultimate get it done guys. The age of art is over. People are going to need a lot of assistance to do really necessary work in this community, in this area. Our job at Habitat is we did the home payments. The people do not get the house for free. They buy it. What level of income they can afford. I can also sell generated mortgage banks. Trust me, when you have to do huge land financing, you get really good at working with banks. But at least I had the grant. You always need the security to get the loan. In housing, it really comes down to you've got to get the time down to build the housing, and you've got to get the bigger deals that people want to work with you with, and then you've got to turn over the money that you're making off the house. I'm sorry that sounds passionate, but our team, for years, we really blew. A lot of pictures of the different families, and I will just say this real quickly. There were 6 families that would have no dream of home ownership that all are on Grove Street. There were 2 families before this. We were finishing just as we got the grant. I feel the Habitat role was it set shovel-ready projects. We had Grove Street laid out. We had Conroe plotted and planned. We were the base that they could build the grant around so that we could work with all the other agencies. I tell you in the future, I told my team and I told them this morning, success will be when one of the other agencies has family come into one of our houses. If we will pull that, then we accomplish it. And I think going forward, we just had 70-some families take applications to build with Habitat. We had a record 42 families that made it through the first one. We visited with 12 families where all of them would have qualified. We were able only to build with 4 of them this next year. But by analogy, and I'm just gonna show you the big pictures on the board. We have 16 ready to build lots in Honda. We have the ability, and we're working with the city to hear a lot of negotiation, and they're negotiating with us because we pulled off Honda. Washington School could be taken down and turned into 18 lots for home development. I have one more land deal. We'll make the other two look small. Everything in building builds off the previous building you did. And I'm sorry I didn't show you the pictures and all that. That's the number one thing that everyone's looking for. Is the thing that's greatest source of creation. We pay an average right now, $4,000 some dollars for taxes, for one of the few where there's a return on the investment. And I realize we're gonna have to do it more and more on our own in the future. The one thing two things that I would ask for the county board, and people have brought it up. Tape must be tapped. We went through 8 different approvals to get the envelope. This is why private builders can't do this. We by design lose money on each one. God talks to private builders, right? But they just can't afford to build small. Right? They can't afford to build. And second, what I could ask on this is look at some of the things that guarantee the finance. I testified for the state legislature this last year. I know the schools need help, and healthcare. There are so many things that are going to be coming up on the pipe. But having the ability to get a guarantee for the financing, small cost for big gain. So, tend to talk about passion and all that. Be thankful I didn't have 40 slides. But I would say in the habitat world, I give you my word. We're moving to 4 builds, 6 builds, and 10 builds. I think we can do this, and we will. So,
Supervisor Nelson. Supervisor Gustafson. Supervisor Hicks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As somebody who has a very unique perspective on habitats, I know I've seen you in my 12 plus years of being on the city plan.
but
I'm going through this 8-year piece of fire. We made sure that we were very strict about the standards for like this established, well-established single family community. We don't want these projects coming in and being substandard. You guys bend over backwards to do everything right. I've never had a problem with anything that I dealt with the city or anything here with Habitat for Humanity. I have nothing but respect for what you do and the quality of.
I think we added garages, we up quality of our homes across the board, that's what cost. I would say the big thing that I would ask for exchange is that people could be supportive of these developments. We've really gone to the private habitat mix, and that's going to be tested. I don't want to give away all the negotiations with the city, but we're going to try to go with mixed neighborhood that want private and habitat homes and build to look like the homes in the neighborhood. I think Grove Street, we put our heart into that one, it succeeded. And those homeowners will be paying $30-some thousand in property taxes back. If you look at that investment in 18 years, the money put in will be returned.
And thank you for pointing that out. Just wanted to say it as far as the red tape goes. I mean, how many years ago was he through the pro project? This guy was.
Yes, I would say generally for just for, so people know, this is why private developers are not doing this. You're looking at 3 to 5 years of going to the meetings, having to finance with a bank. And they're just going, I've got to. If we weren't nonprofit, we don't know how we could. I mean, I think it's unique that, you know, the other charities, like I said, really want to be the end product where their people can come up to home ownership. This is being unique going forward. Any red tape should be other people were saying it regarding the future. That's like giving me 30 cents on the dollar just by making the process easier.
And that's what that's what I'm hoping for. And as far as the county goes, I know the county looks good. City, everybody's got problems with the city. I hear it all the time when I was on the commission. Different municipalities, all those hoops you have to jump through. I wish there was a standardized way to get to that, but I know that there is statutory. Doesn't really the state breaks it down.
Yeah, I appreciate the yeah, I would say we're all being that it has to be done. We actually have to have somebody take the lead on actually getting it done.
I just want,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could just ask you a few numbers questions.
Oh, that's been last time. Okay, yes.
Said 2.4 million was the number.
Yes,
How much did it cost you to develop the members?
1.2 million. That is 200 some. And then approximately 800,000 for the land development. It was much higher than we expected, but we had put together financing and whatnot. The state grant allowed us to get the financing. The state grant put in 600 and some thousand dollars towards the total cost.
Well, given that it's an nominal population growth, I understand why developers are in trouble. It's going to cost you 1.2 million.
Yes, I would say, when we're looking at other deals, usual development costs for taking a piece of dirt and turning it into a buildable lot are 60 to 70 some thousand dollars. I would say in right now, a builder is often looking at investing 90 to 100,000 dollars before they even begun building.
So then the balance of money is then you have 1.2 million left to use for 8 homes, so that's 150,000.
Yes, and I would say that during that time, and what we did is with that, we gave donors, we got this grant, can match, we could guarantee to donors that we got it done. I'm really proud that we got the 8 homes built in a much shorter time period. A lot of times in building, it is the other thing that we could do with this grant that was real help is we could promise contractors, concrete people, excavators, by doing road, they could do the whole job at once. That made a small home just as profitable to work with us as if they were pouring cement on 2 big homes. That's why I think in the future of affordable housing, we have to go for the subdivision model. But I really do understand that a lot of people do not fear when you hear habitat subdivision is going to come, it must be mixed. Not grocery right, even though with 6 homes all habitat. I really think in Conroe, we face tremendous opposition at first because people had no clue what we were doing. But if you had seen the people that now are buying them, it's just nice people.
Are they happy with it now, Nava?
I think Conroe, yes, John and Luke, and we helped solve a stormwater problem. And I think that Conroe finally saw that habitat was part of the solution of the problem. And I think Conroe a lot of credit. They really come around to our side.
So how large are the homes into?
We're doing that right now. We're getting the land developed. We completed the land development end of October. Taking people through the field, if you want to see this is how a field becomes a subdivision. Is something we will be taking on board. I would say the homes are probably going to be approximately 1,200 to 1,300 square foot ranches with attached garages. We're going to make small homes look bigger with as many designs as we can. We are talking to private builders who will build ranch homes that will be slightly larger, that we are really working on how can we get you to sell that house at the lowest cost possible.
So 100 to 150 bucks.
Yes, which I would say talking to commercial builders, you're talking up to 200 right now, 300 is often happening. We're doing that with volunteers and we don't spend anything other than program.
Supervisor Hanson. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much for your attention, for your presentation.
I love this stuff.
On some of the things, and it could be a red tape thing. Speaking to someone who has worked with builders, you take those same lots and you can do, instead of ranch, you can do, I think I mentioned this to you last time we were here, condominium-wise the project. You can almost double the number of
You're correct with the administrative burden. I mean, again, it's red tape. You run into huge levels of regulations. We did look at that as one of our concepts for the Washington school location. And what you end up with, I respect everything you're saying, but you also have to look at the ongoing costs to administer something. You have to look at the reports. I'm to tell the state how much of my time is filling out reports. It is not an insignificant amount of my time. And I think for Tony and other opportunities, we spend a lot meeting regulation. This is needed, but your model can show you the numbers. And I have numbers on the Your number, the problem with your model is the ongoing cost to administer. And you're correct. Things like this could be done if red tape was cut.
So what do we do to help with that?
Well, you heard somebody talk about the issue. You heard me talk about the issue. I'm telling you, builders, telling me the same thing. We can't do this. The easy land was gone 10 to 20 years ago. The problem is going to be how do we infill older homes that are coming to the end of their life. Second is, what are we going to allow to try to bring that house price down? I mean, on-road faced really significant stormwater runoff issues. So we had to build study after study after study. At some point, somebody had to make a decision. And we lost 10 months. And during that time, we could have been building. At the end of the day, they agreed to everything we had said in the first time. So it's very easy. I'm not trying to be the small business person who says government is the source of all evil, but it's just got out of hand. And I really think if you look at the housing prices right now, why are builders only building expensive homes? Because that's what they can afford to do to make a profit. It takes so long to get through approval on the Washington school deal that will be coming up. I've been working on that for 15 months. So we will be talking about an abandoned school building and hopefully turn into housing. But 3 to 5 years of planning to actually make a decision. If housing is a crisis, we've got to change something.
Go back to your box.
So, thank you very much for your statement, Mr. Shannon. So thank you very much for your presentation. And thank you so much for what you do, because I just feel like the housing crisis is one of our major problems right now, especially with building all these new mansions that first-time families can't even dream of buying into. And they can't buy a certain home, they'll never get to the new mansion. I was just wondering how much if you were selling one of these houses on the open market. And I don't want to think about buying a house. My stepdad bought my house for me and did all the work. And, how much would one of your houses cost on the open market?
Sure, just a preliminary fact, and I'll answer your question. In 2022, we worked mainly in Oshkosh, on Rosewood. There were only 19 new homes built in Oshkosh that year, when there was probably a need for 50 to 100. The only 2 homes were sold for under 200,000. So I give credit to John and to Lou for coordinating discussion of builders and whatnot. And finally, to try and get it going, but finally to answer your question. The average habitat home build, our cost can be real. About a decade ago, we could do it for $145,000 a house. There were a lot of costs I admitted from yours. Didn't include any labor costs, didn't include administrative. Our actual cost to build a house for us with volunteers is $210,000. The actual permits, material, yeah, but those houses on Grove Street, we sold to families. We also are at the bank. Between $170,000 to $205,000, we sold it to them. We subsidized the price there. The homes all appraised for $272,000 each. A 1,100 square foot starter home in Oshkosh is now considered around 272,000 on the open market.
See, I actually live in Yasha. And we are literally going all over.
That's because that's what builders can afford to build. So the real danger, I'm sorry, you guys can everyone come to the house. We'll talk about, I'll show you lots of numbers. The problem is we're preventing people from getting into the first house that they could move up the ladder to the big mansion. The market is getting frozen. We also have so many older people, people that bachelors with whatnot. We do this rock block program. We just work in Stevens Park. Not, I would say as many as 90% of the people we're working with are older people stuck in homes that are too big. Yet they cannot sell them to the families in the future because they have no place they could afford to go. That's trying to start a discussion, could Habitat get into the starter market, or, you know, there has been collaboration, there are discussions going. At the end of the day, the only thing I can see is the resources just would be massive to get the building moving going. So the one thing that we could do is Habitat has uniqueness inside, we have the mortgage, we can sell the mortgages. Government could help us by cutting the red tape. They can get those administrative costs down, at least make it easier for us. And there's always one more. 30 to 40 people always show up at the first hearing, demand that this be looked at, demand that that look be at. We've been trying to work on that. Can we get more acceptance of new building going on? We all say surprises, but nobody wants a home built by them. That's so. We're working on it.
Vice Chairman Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question was answered. I certainly do appreciate it. I think you got it.
No, and final thank you. Like I said, we used to do 1 to 2 homes per year. What you really did is give us the lead to get the land, to get the development, to get the reputation. So we do this more and more on our own going forward. Finally, is I would see the great success if one of the other programs eventually gets people buying a Habitat house. I think we're a unique builder. We're the only one operating in this segment of the market. We've got to make this with others. So thank you very much.
We got some more questions here for you. Just run away.
Yeah, I was wondering on the Washington School property, about how many houses was fit in there?
Excellent question. There's been a lot of discussion on that because again, you gotta go through stormwater, you gotta go through all these other things. We believe that it can be turned into 18 homes. The deal there would be 9 would be Habitat, 9 would be a private developer. The city is really working on a program initiative that they really want. We have the first draft, the agreement going back there. There will be a lot of discussion yet. We didn't like it. But I think that there is a real opportunity there in the housing market find land. And we do really think working with the school district, working with other school districts. Their RETA did start a loan program, not very successful, but you got to find larger pieces of land where you can convert it to housing. Schools, as we change over school districts and whatnot, would be a logical spot to work. Other large, either commercial buildings or industrial parks are no longer utilized very well, or some sort of other public building would be ideal spots to start the discussion. Washington School is an experiment. We don't know if it will work. Believe it will work and we will make it.
Supervisor Burrow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director Simon. I really appreciate you going into some details. A couple of things I was looking up when you were speaking at while I was sharing. The National Home Builders Association reports $94,000 per home for building regulations and taxes.
I would say my personal experience is that is correct.
The other thing is, Zillow reported, I saw this, become a homeowner, become a homeowner, and now need an extra $106,000 a year salary, which is up substantially to $59,000 like 4 years ago.
I would say we had a 300 to 500% increase in applicants to the Habitat program. Most of the people were saying the banks won't even talk to them.
Thank you very much. Don't have any more lights. Thank you. That will be the Spirit Fund dashboard by Adam Dorn, Director, Kelly, and on the Executive Office. I want to tell you this year, we're not going to go into what's left of the Spirit Fund, what we're going to do with the Spirit Fund left and all that. It's just what it's called, dashboard. For those of you that are interested in it's coming up, the 11th, September 11th, on the 4th floor, we'll be having a Spirit Fund meeting. So if anyone would like to come for a meeting, so on the 11th, 1 o'clock.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna have my portion really quick here and hand it over to the two people that did a lot of the legwork. One of the things that we always talked about with the Spirit Fund is transparency. Supervisor Buck, you mentioned that quite a few times. The process was out in the open. We went through every single application out in the open. We discussed every application out in the open. There were no shortcuts on this. So I figured that we should probably tell the story of where the dollars went in the most transparent way possible. So Adam Bellicurelli, my administrative assistant, has been working with Adam Dorf from GAF, and they put together a pretty fantastic tool. And I want them to kind of explain what they did and what's behind it. It is posted currently live on our county website. So with that, and with that, Adam Bellicurelli.
Good evening, everybody. So we do have slides, but also you all have handout. That would really help. We go through this and I take notes on here and that sort of thing. So when you do find the dashboard on the county website, there is a pick us on here. The Spirit Fund dashboard created by the Winnebago County Geographic Information System staff and updated by the Winnebago County executives. Is an interactive and sortable tool that allows county board members and the public to track the location and progress of project requests submitted by local agencies and municipalities across Winnebago County. These projects, totaling in the tens of millions of dollars, aim to ease the burdens caused by or amplified by the ongoing pandemic and make the community more resilient in facing future challenges. So what we've done here is made a tool that talks about the what and the where, but it doesn't necessarily talk about the why. That's we sort of like that. So we'll start. All right, so if you click on that link that's at the lower right hand side of the Winnebago County website, you'll then get the dashboard. And on the handout is a sample of a little bit older version, but what we're looking at here. And so we'll start by in the center is the map. So this lays out where each of the projects that were funded by and through the commission exist in the world. On the back of the handout, the map, you'll see the 4 different shapes. So if it's a municipal project, it is noted by an upside. The circle is one of the fire department radios. If it's a square, then it's a governmental agency project. And the regular triangle is one of our county partner agencies. So as you can either zoom into the map, the way you would Google Earth or any other, and that way you can start to look at individual projects, or you can click directly on one of the shapes, and the rest of the dashboard will morph to what you're looking at as you go through. One of the things, okay, we can see it up there. So one of the things I want to remind everyone, or just sort of, as we go through this, down in the bottom right-hand corner is the refresh button, you're gonna, then as you sort through and search through this tool, remembering that refresh button is gonna be helpful. Because as you do the different searches, all of the numbers around the edges are going to change. And so if you get 2 or 3 searches deep, you're gonna start to lose some of the other categories, and so you want to refresh before you go into the next search. So over on the left-hand side, we have some of the big numbers here. So there are 65 projects listed on the dashboard. Now that might seem a little weird because there are 65 resolutions, but what I've done, or what we've done on the dashboard is separate out the money that was sent to each municipality as its own project. And the, let's see, so there were 22 government identified projects, 14 Fire Chiefs Association individual fire beats that got the radio funding. Local governments got 21, that's split into 21 different points on here. And there are 8 county projects. So that's how we got to the total of the 65. So then, if you look at the number directly below it, the $23.5 million is what the checks the county has sent out to the agency, who can now use those funds throughout the county. And then we'll go through the project status number as we go in the next search, but we can continue on. So an alternate way to search, instead of going directly through the map, would be to look at the project list. Now, the thing you might call the projects might not necessarily match up with the way we label them, so it's going to take a little bit of searching sometimes if there's a particular project you're interested in. But what we were able to do is add a search function. So if you wanted to put the name of your township or the specific topic that you're interested in, you can search that right there. Or you can simply scroll through and look at all of the projects that are on the list here. And as you click on the link at the top of the description of the project, over on then so the map will zoom in the center, and then on the right hand side, all of the details about each project will show up. Some of the details you can see in there then are the name of the project, the organization that requested it, the type of project it is. We also put in there the specific resolution number that somebody would look up if they wanted to see the county board deliberation on that topic. It also has the dollar amounts and other information about those requesting agencies, all listed in here, so that someone is easier to go back through and follow the process. Each of these 55 projects. We also have the rectangles there. I'm sorry, it's not prettier. We're working on stuff that making it look nicer. But each of those boxes is sort of a timeline of the progress of each of these projects. So each of these projects began with commission approved. If it didn't get commission approved, it wouldn't have moved forward. So each of the ones that we have on here now have been through the commission approved process, and then the board approved, and are now in progress or complete. So in progress again just means that the check has been sent from the county to those agencies, but they have not yet told us that they're done with the project. So that's sort of where some of these other categories break down. All right, that will give a little bit more information on how to utilize the tool and the sorting functions.
Is that? So, that's all. You're just generally curious, you want to know some information, following more than that will help you. If you want to be going a little bit more in depth, then we have a variety of filters up at the top. So whether it's the number 1 listed,
That is for project categories. So there are two project categories, county government projects and government identified projects. If you want to just see one of those categories, you click that, check the box of the type of the category of projects you're interested in, and the list and the map and filter. The next one over is project type. There are a lot more project types. We see some here from housing and infrastructure. You click that, you can check specific types of projects that you want to see more information on, the list and the map will filter. And then lastly is the button just right of that, which is to identify the status. So if you want to see projects that have been approved by the board or projects that are currently in progress, you click that and we'll also update all these filters. And you can use those in combination. So it's so in this example, I selected government identified projects, housing projects, infrastructure projects, and ones that are in progress. So all elements within the dashboard have updated to reflect the numbers, reflect those locations, so you can see more details about that. And as Anna mentioned earlier, if you get that deep and you said, I didn't click the things I wanted to, and you want to start over, you just click that blue button in the lower right hand corner, and everything will reset from scratch. So you can do it all. So down at the bottom, there are a number of forestry graphs. This is separated into stuff in blue are identifying county government projects. The ones in green are identifying government identified projects. And with each of those, we have one horseshoe graph showing county are commission approved, and the other is for board approved. So you can see if there are more projects that come through, what the breakdowns between those. Just to the right of that is a separate tab for identifying the category of the site. So that is showing all the different types of projects and the number, not the dollar value, but the individual number of projects in each of those broken down. And then the green in the stacked bar is for the government identified projects, and the blue is for the county government projects. So if you're using that on your tablet or computer, you can just hover your cursor over that, and it'll give you that. So lastly, we have a question section. So if people have questions about frequently asked questions, the stuff that's on the back of the sheet, they're right there. You can also get that on the main website. County, what you do is, as Adam mentioned, on the county homepage, they get this exact document. And if there's members of the community or your constituents that want to know more information, there's also a link in the top corner to go back to the page where this is referenced from, as well as a link to the county's YouTube page for the art meetings, so you can watch the videos if they want more information. And thank you guys for being patient with us, and if you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to try to help you.
Supervisor Gilbert.
So I opened up the dashboard on both my phone and on the tablet, and it's not very accessible for.
Right.
I know that there are constituents that don't have a tablet, don't have a computer, only utilize phones, but there are ways that they're going to have a cell phone.
It's very difficult to make it both cell phone compatible and large device compatible. There are ways to use it on a cell phone, but it's not designed specifically for that functionality. So it's primarily designed for a larger screen.
The dashboard maybe for a cell phone layout, so that.
There could be, depending on the feedback that we get. It is possible to use it. Each one of these boxes, as you hover over the top of them, there's a little window that allows you to expand each one of the windows. But it's, you're right, it's not the most convenient to use on mobile.
And I would recommend first going landscape, because even on a phone, landscape is more readable than, or looking at it.
Thank you for the feedback.
Supervisor Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for the attention to detail. Congratulate you. Also, just 2 seconds, take the time to congratulate Supervisor Clark for doing and making sure that everything is transparent, and also for what I mean, he is called the clawback clause, Right, smart, thinking of that. Also credit to the trying to follow, headed up the commission, and put a lot of these forward. Things to her. One thing I am wondering, could include is the balance left in the account. You're saying 23.5 million, that is leaving approximately 10 million plus the interest. If I'm not mistaken. And if that could be included,
And this is only, so as things change and as this progresses, we will make adaptations in the website to change as the needs change.
you thought of everything. I like the fact that we even included the resolution numbers. First, I go back to look at. Thank you. Who was did you both design this, put this on? That you that did this?
We work together.
Thank you very much appreciate it. Supervisor Burrow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Adam, thank you, first of all, thank you for your work, much appreciated. You know, we're transparent, but this beautiful, simple transparency that I think can resonate, you know, to our constituents, they can see it, they want to dive into detail, it's there for them. Again, compliments to all of you, so I think that'll play very well with the public, start building trust. So thank you again.
Supervisor Stafford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is great, thank you. Really, this is fantastic. Could you consider putting the legend on the live site? Because the live site, I don't see the legend anywhere for all the shapes. It might be difficult if someone's looking at, understand the differences amongst.
It is covered in the description, but unfortunately, we can't put the symbol, so it's a narrative description. But we'll under the book questions tab, all the way at the bottom, there's a narrative description, but it doesn't have the symbols. We want to figure out that.
It looks great, thank you.
Thank you. I see no more questions on here, no more hands or.
I just want to give these two Adams good congratulations on the job well done with this. And one of the things that I thought this tool was really helpful with housing municipalities, we granted $145,000. So you can actually go back in here and see what all the towns did with their $145,000. I think that's a valuable tool. I think it was done well, and I think the towns put it to good use. Thank you, too.
We do have one more question. Supervisor Dowling has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I was just curious to know if you would be able to move the markers that are currently in Menasha for the NEW mental health services and the Tri-County Dental. It just makes it look like the city of Menasha received more grant funding than they did. And neither of those locations are located in Menasha.
Yes, we heard your question, and Adam's making notes, so maybe we can take a look at that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, again, thank you very much. The last thing I have before we adjourn tonight, I said the meeting will be on the 11th. I have two great big X's go across and all that, so some of the people that are on that committee, it might get changed yet, so watch for your, so, on your agenda board and whatever, where it's going to be. We started out the 13th, and the 12th, and the 11th, because, that's just what we're trying to work everybody in, but it's even more that couldn't make it, so. So watch it, I can't tell you exactly, but the plan is as of tonight, right now, is the 11th, but I won't say the third. So, I'm open for adjournment. So moved. Adjourn, all those in favor signify by saying aye.